Today marks the 60th anniversary of the first ascent to the summit of Mount Everest. May 29, 1953, Sir Edmund Hillary and his Nepalese Sherpa Tenzing Norgay reached the summit. And this week, history was made again. India's Arunima Sinha became the first female amputee to climb Mount Everest. The 25-year-old was a former national volleyball champion. She lost a leg when robbers threw her from a train in India. Sinha reached the top last Tuesday with a prosthetic leg.
In 1953, it was akin to walking on the moon, standing atop Mount Everest nearly 9 kilometres high.
George said, "How to go, Ed?" And then I made those fateful utterances, "Well, George, we knocked the bastard off."
It was a British expedition which propelled New Zealander Edmund Hillary and Nepalese Sherpa Tenzing Norgay to the top of the world. But it inspired people around the world.
This was not the civic welcome, but a truly spontaneous greeting by his admirers and friends.
Whether it's climbing Everest or going to the moon, it sent a message to every single person that you could do it if you wanted to.
And plenty have. Some would say too many. Last year, more than 500 climbers crowded the summit in just 2 days. Among them, New Zealand mountaineer Peter Kamel.
We had a lot of delays because of the crowding, but that actually gave me an opportunity to reflect on what Ed had done.
Before he died, Sir Ed wondered if Everest should be given a rest. Now there's talk of putting in a permanent ladder on the final southern ascent, known as the Hillary Step, to ease congestion and tension on the mount.
Flying through the Himalayas, it's almost easy to miss it. Everest's dark grey slopes are hidden behind other towering peaks. Tibetans for centuries have revered it as the mother goddess of the world. Climbers know it not only for its beauty, but also for its temperamental spirit.
It's a changeable personality, and it can be vicious one minute and can be so friendly the next minute.
This year, it's Everest's human population that brings the trouble.
I just said a bit worse. I was angry why they were pissed off.
Over the radio, an Italian mountaineer has just called a number of Sherpas slaves. This after a shouting match over climbing routes.
Yep, I copy that. I know what word you used, and I don't like that word either.
At Camp 2, 6,400 meters above sea level. Angry Sherpas throw rocks, a knife is drawn. The Italian and 2 other Europeans are cut and bruised, but escaped further harm.
No violence, please!
With no police presence, the climbing community quietly tries to deal with the problem. Sherpas are at the heart of commercial expeditions here. The European climbers involved are some of the best. Worried bad press may hurt business, outfitters help broker a peace deal. While the peace agreement has both sides admitting they were at fault and promising to never allow a high-altitude brawl such as this to happen again, it's very clear here at Everest Base Camp that tensions remain, and all is not forgiven. Last year, Nepalese-Canadian Sharia Shah Chlorfine reached the summit, but just hours later died of exhaustion. These pictures taken earlier show how lineups created long and unnecessary delays, sapping a climber's strength. Nepal earns close to $12 million a year from Everest expeditions. While the government admits the problem, it has no plans to limit permits.
The government is trying to make the best way to make the Mount Everest climbing, the mountaineering more safer.
In the meantime, policing the mountain and the numbers on it remain the responsibility of climbers themselves. And as history has shown for so many, its lure, irregardless of inherent or human dangers, will prove too much a draw to turn away from.
Well, climbing Everest is one thing. Jumping off it is another. Still, that's what a Russian extreme sports star has done to mark the anniversary. Have a look at this. This is Valery Rozov. He decided to dive off the north face of Everest in the world's highest ever base jump. It was an amazing 7,220 metres above sea level. He spent 2 years preparing for this with his team, which included 4 Sherpas as well as photographers and camera crew. He spent nearly 3 weeks in the Himalayas before the jump.